Hey everyone, Dr. Ramani, Happy New Year. So here we are, January 1, 2022. Funny how it just keeps marching forward. So I want to give you this New Year's video because I think that anyone who's going through a healing and recovery process, these anniversary dates kind of matter. Anyone could say, well, can't we just say any day's New Year's Day? Sure. But the rest of the world isn't on, and all of us think today is a new beginning. We've been coming off some messy years, certainly historically, but I'd like to keep this video, as always, and everything on this channel focused on sort of narcissism, recovery from narcissistic abuse, and just mental health. This is a year on this channel. I really, really hope to stay very, very focused on recovery, growth, to sort of what happens next. I've already told you that, again, healing program starts this month. Please, again, hit that link in the video description, and you'll get it there. But that's where I want us to go, because let's think about this evolution of what many of you have gone through in terms of narcissistic abuse. You spent years, sometimes decades, walking around and even feeling like you were bumping into walls as you kept thinking, it's got to be me. This has got to be me. What is happening? What is happening, right? And the world changed. And in the last, I'd argue 5 to 7 years, we're using this word. People are talking about it more. And for many of you, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not the one who's lost my mind. This thing around me is really happening. And we put name to it. And you did the deep dive and you learned everything you could. In fact, I would argue, and I'm pretty confidently, that a lot of folks who watch this YouTube channel and others like it and read about narcissism, you may actually very well have a better working knowledge of narcissism and high conflict personalities than a lot of folks who work in the field of mental health. Some of that is because for so long, and I think to this day, we often view antagonistic personality styles, narcissistic personality styles as something that can't really be addressed through therapy. So why teach the thing you can't do anything about? It's actually a real problem because therapists need to understand narcissism if they're going to work with people going through narcissistic abuse. But all of you, you did your deep dive, and the deeper you did it, you thought, oh my goodness, this is a thing. Some of you got angry. You thought, why the heck didn't a past therapist or someone else talk to me about this? And then you got informed. But there's a point at which this well does have a bottom to it. And like I said, I've read it all. I've read all the books about narcissism. I've done research on it, like done the work. And it does, at some point, it's you do sort of hit the ends of the universe, right? And see like, okay, we now know what we need to know. And although people out there are continuing to do what I consider to be very important work in neuroscience and other areas to determine, can this personality stuff be understood, or maybe even sort of taken apart a bit, if we could just understand some of the central nervous system underpinning, sure, but we're sure as hell not there. And there is no narcissism pill out there. So now you all get it. You get all grandiose from malignant. You know what gaslighting is. You know all the terminology. You know about trauma bonding. You know about the origins of narcissism. You get it all. So what's this next year going to be about? It's going to be about you. Healing and growth. That's where I really want to take this channel more. Obviously, I'm still going to have some of the good old regular narcissism content. That's inevitable as I keep trying to sort of break this down. But I also want this a year to be on things like post-traumatic growth, post-narcissistic abuse growth. What does recovery feel like? How do I negotiate these situations? Because you're still going to have to. I don't care if you've gotten divorced. I don't care if there's people you've gone no contact with. I don't care if you quit your job. Good luck these days going out in the world and not encountering narcissistic people pretty much on the daily, even if you live a pretty sequestered existence. They're just out there, and you can't get rid of everyone who has this kind of personality style in your life. So I want to be able to be here also to give you those tools on how to keep working through these situations. And more importantly, for those of you who are really well along in your recovery journal, actually, for those of you who are well along in your recovery journey, I really want to also fortify your ability to engage in something in my books I've called gatekeeping. Is keeping people who have these styles out early, because the earlier you can detect it, the earlier you can stop it. In fact, some of the work I do with people is sometimes working with them while they're trying to make decisions on sort of good fit for people to come into their companies or groups or brands. And we can have brief conversations and I can say, probably not. Like a lot of this stuff can be found early on, and you can see it early on if you choose to. And that's one of the things I also want people to learn and from this channel this year is how to get those boundaries better, how to pick up on this earlier, how not to fall back down the trauma bonded well and say, well, kind of feel bad for them. Well, maybe they didn't mean it. As soon as you start turning your head and saying, probably you're getting into some corners of this situation that are not good. So in 2022, I really, again, I want to continue educating you about narcissism, but very much from a place of how do we work our way through these situations? How do we manage what's happened to us? How do we heal from this? How do we unleash our full potential? That's big to me. The other thing is too, and I'm well aware of this, and I'm willing to bet that it's 50% of you end up having to stay in these relationships. You're like, I'm not walking away from elderly parents, or I got to keep a relationship with my sister because our kids are close, or I can't let go of this job because I'm going to get a pension. Whatever your reasons are, you don't need to rationalize them to me. I get it. And all of us, myself, all of you watching, are likely in at least one narcissistic relationship we don't feel that we can fully distance ourselves from for reasons that are meaningful to us. So some of the work I want also to be done in this channel this year is to help you understand how to navigate those difficult waters without falling into the patterns of self-blame, invalidation, self-gaslighting, and also give you the tools to recognize not just the narcissists in your midst, but the enablers, the flying monkeys, and the folks out there that embolden the narcissist even more. But I also want this to be your YouTube channel. What has been so glorious, when I first started doing this, it was very much like, okay, let me just teach people about this and let's see if it's helpful to them. But what we're getting more and more all the time are ideas from all of you through the comment sections, through your emails, phenomenally good ideas for content. And then to take those, really do the research on them to be able to continue giving you content that is responsive to your own journeys of understanding, of recovery, or of healing. One of the greatest privileges of my life is being able to do this work. It was a long time I was doing work on narcissism and narcissistic abuse in silence. And a lot of people saying, you're out of your mind, Ramani, you're killing your career with this. This is nonsense. And I said, maybe to you, but to me, it feels important. And I know it's helping people. I feel grateful that I stuck on that, but it would have been really hard to stick on that journey if I didn't see it was helping people. Your comments, your thoughts, the things you share, that's what keeps me going in this fight. So in this new year, while I certainly am not going to sit here and make you any grandiose promises about how this is the year you're going to heal from narcissistic abuse. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Or to say this is the year you're going to get out. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Those kinds of outcomes concern me less than this year, on this New Year's Day, that you commit to saying each day, I want to have my own back. And I recognize some days I'm going to move forward and a couple of days I'm going to step backwards. But for you to understand that the lapses, the slips we have in these relationships, they happen, to learn from them and to keep on keeping on. This channel, this YouTube channel, I hope is a space that helps you keep on keeping on. And above all else, allows you to lift that sense of self-blame that so many people going through narcissistic abuse do. And I also know that a lot of people who watch this channel suspect that they themselves may be narcissistic. I've attempted to put content out there to address that, and I admire anyone who wants to put their head down and do real and meaningful change. So let's hope that this channel, I'm never going to make this world narcissist free. I am getting too old for that. But let's hope this channel may not make the world narcissist free, but might make your world a little more so, and also a little healthier. So from my heart to you, happy New Year. I look forward to growing this channel with all of you next year and really making this a space where you can grow and learn, and I also can grow and learn from you. Thank you.